On July 9, 2011, the world watched as a new nation was born. South Sudan, the youngest country on earth, rose with songs, tears, and prayers. After decades of war, the chains of oppression had finally been broken. We raised our flag with pride, kissed the soil, and promised, never again. Never again shall we feel like second-class citizens in our own country. But somewhere between freedom and the future, something broke. That flag we raised began to wilt. That promise of a country that we made was betrayed. In less than 2 years, we went from independence to a full-scale civil war. We turned guns on ourselves and families. But for what? What do South Sudanese gain from fighting ourselves? Or are the leaders orchestrating the war benefiting from our division and pain? From independence to war that turned into tribal war with a blink of an eye, our leaders turned guns on each other. And in doing so, they turned on us. The war was brutal because it turned into a tribal, ethnic-based war, which led to us being chronically divided along those tribal lines. But who is the enemy? Is the tribalism the enemy in South Sudan? The dream of a nation became a nightmare. 500,000 and counting are dead. Millions displaced. Entire generations born and raised in exile and refugee camps, children of a war they never started. At Voice 64 we ask what happened. How did we go from liberation to war? How did we go from struggling together to being enemies? From brothers in arms to enemies in power? How did we go from liberation to looting oil resources? Now we know. We were failed by power and greed. We were not failed by the land, it is riches. We were failed by the men who captured the oil riches. We all heard the slogan, "It's our turn to eat." Men who replaced justice with patronage. Men who serve and value tribal loyalty. And turned our freedom struggle into a business plan. South Sudan was not supposed to be like this. South Sudan was supposed to be the Singapore of Africa. We were not meant to be ruled by generals forever, or to measure leadership by how many years one spent in the bush. We were supposed to build something new and better, something special together. And that something is South Sudan. In this generation, we must not watch on the sidelines while the general divides South Sudan based on tribal lines and militia loyalties, while the general plan wars, which guns to buy, who to bomb, which community to attack, and which tribe to marginalize. We must stand up to the generals and tribal oligarchs. And enough is enough, and reclaim South Sudan from them by speaking up to the power of the big guns. The promise of a peaceful nation has not completely died yet, but it will only live if we, the people, demand it. The future of South Sudan lives in those who speak out, lives in those who return to rebuild, in youth who organize online, in teachers who show up, and in mothers who never stop believing. South Sudan was born in pain, but it doesn't have to stay that way. But it still carries the seed of promise. A nation is not just its leaders, it is its people. And the people have not given up. So the question is no longer, what happened to the dream? But rather, what will we do with what remains? Will we let it die in silence because our father, uncle, relative, and our tribe are the power players in South Sudan's demise? Or pledge allegiance to the nation by speaking up, building, and demanding the better South Sudan we were promised? This is Voice 64, where silence ends and truth begins. Voice 64, together we speak, together strong.